Hi everyone, my name is Mela Kilawati and I'm the host of Novelties Podcast. Today I am joined by Omani Archive with Nadine, Walid, and Nabras. Today's episode title is A Kafkaesque World. It's not usually a term you hear thrown around, but it's usually used to describe something absurd or frustrating. What do you guys define Kafkaesque as? Fine. That's good. That's good content. I think.
Not ready
But that's fine.
You
So
go first.
fun.
You go first.
You mind if I narrow it down a bit? When I think about it, it's more like, I don't know if this is the correct phrasing, but it's like being bogged down by the system, and there's this existential flair to it as well. It's like being an unwilling participant of a system that you don't want to be a part of, but you're forced to participate in.
That's very interesting.
Okay. So in a way, sorry. So in a way, because this is my first time hearing this word. I'm learning about it right now. So what I'm understanding is, essentially, it's related to conforming, right?
You could say that, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you feel about this?
How do I feel about conforming?
Do you guys have I don't know. You know this word so well. What does it make you think of?
I think of
Okay.
Okay.
Well, this is still the trailer, right? Or did we start the episode?
We'll see.
Yeah, we
see the
kind of
footage.
just see. Okay, I can
Is this how it usually goes when you're recording?
absolutely. It takes about a solid 15 to 30 minutes
Okay.
to kind of get the flow in.
Okay.
So when we're talking about the term Kafkaesque, so I guess when we say a Kafkaesque world, we're not just describing a strange feeling or a confusing moment. We're talking about a psychological state, a feeling of alienation, disorientation, and maybe even sometimes invisibility. It's what happens when the system we're born into, whether family, education, work, or society, don't offer us answers, only more questions.
Can I ask,
Go ahead.
why did you pick this word?
It was a big word. I didn't know the word before 2 days ago. And this is the type of psychological state that was derived from the original book. So, yeah.
What area of your life do you feel like Kafkaesque, the essence of this word, applies mostly? And
I guess majorly in my social interactions and the way I and people behave. No. Yeah, maybe. But the way people and I behave, I've had this strange and burdening feeling, I guess I want to say, of trying to remove myself from being this hero personality. Yeah, and it's a struggle that I've been facing for a while.
when you say hero, do you mean essentially putting other people first? Or
Yeah.
do you mean going the extra mile? I mean, putting other people first can be going the extra mile, but I'm just trying to gauge, what do you mean by being the hero?
I guess in most terms, people would take me to be someone who's on very solid grounds, as if I know my path and I know where I'm going. And so this personality that I kind of portray just to steady my own self becomes a sort of crutch for others. I'm forced to take on the role of their savior or, their guide. And it generally does take a toll on my mental well-being.
Do you think it relates to you just being a person that people look up to? Do you think that's something you embody? Maybe you have a more, you're maybe more mature, or you appear to be more mature, so people kind of have this expectation that, oh, we can just rely on her to just say the right thing or to kind of do the right thing or to, do you get me? Or
Yeah, I sort of do tend to take on the lead in most of my interactions with others. And so, even if it's someone that I'm meeting for the first time, it tends to become a reoccurring habit, I would say. And so, I would just automatically take on the role later on while, like, the friendship or whatever it is continues.
so like in my experience, I do feel like oftentimes I'm taking the role in the sense where like I'm overanalyzing. I always feel like I'm the person who's overanalyzing the actions of the person I'm engaging with, or I'm thinking, what are their thoughts, or how are they experiencing what we're experiencing? Like I always find myself in that position, and I don't think I don't think I blame them. I think it's just unfortunately how my brain works. But yeah, that's my I hate to be in that position, but I've come to like learn and accept that it's not really in my control to kind of sit back and be like, oh, I don't care what they're thinking. Like I wish it was, but immediately I go home and I'm like, ChatGPT, like, do you think, like, am I crazy? Like, is this what happened? Like,
That's so fair. No, but that's so fair. I feel like you've just given like the most straightforward explanation as to what goes through my head. I don't feel like I've related to someone so much. No, but honestly, there have been a lot of interactions where I would have, I don't know if I want to say this, but I'll say it for now, where I've had a full-blown panic attack because I'm just like, oh my God, what are they saying? Do they think I'm crazy? Do they think I'm weird? Did I say too much? Did I... خليت راحتي واجد, that's an Arabic word, but whatever. So yeah, it's kind of how you portrayed it very accurately, actually.
Do you feel like you do this because it's like a personality traits you have, or because like you just feel like everyone around you is lost? Like, is it like an internal thing or an external thing?
I think it was majorly based on my upbringing. I am the eldest daughter, and so I feel like a lot of the times I was the one who, by my own decision or not, kind of just took the lead, needed to know things and get things done, get things right. And so...
Just realized that we're all like eldest son, eldest daughter, eldest daughter.
That's so funny.
Thing is, what I would say about this specific trait, there's a name for it. It's personalization, where people usually take things personally or overthink about stuff that happens to them when engaging with someone. And I've watched this video. A while ago. It was basically teaching us how to depersonalize stuff, and helped me because I realized there's a lot of stuff that I've used to overthink about, like my interactions with people and like literally my day-to-day life, where everything that occurs to me would have an effect on me and makes me think a lot about whatever happens. But I've learned that these like stuff doesn't really matter. This is what I've learned and what happened to me, like the change that I've went through recently.
I have a question. What do you like? Because in my experience, I tell myself, or like my friends will tell me, Nadine, you're overthinking, you're in your head. Like, are you actually مقتنع that like, I'm overthinking? Or do you actually just turn it, like you just keep repeating it to yourself? Like, because I don't know. I feel like even when, the only difference is I still overthink it. I still overanalyze. I just choose to not vocalize it. Like I choose to deal with it privately, whether that's through spirituality or through method, and you go pray to God, please help me, or through ChatGPT, for example. Or do you have your thoughts actually gone off, and have you actually like decided, okay, I don't need to overthink this, I don't need to take the lead? Their inability to take care of themselves or handle this is, can you actually step away and give them that?
I'm pretty sure it can occur because this is what happened to me. Like literally one day, and keep in mind this, I was struggling with this since I was really young. because of the way I was brought up. I never had a lot of friends. I always thought people would judge me. So I grew up with this trait, but until recently, until things changed, until I realized I can be more social and everything, I realized stuff are not really personal. It's usually like if I were to have an opinion or something, if someone were to talk to me about another opinion, yeah, sometimes I'd be against the opinion, but I wouldn't really take it to a personal matter like I used to before. Before I used to, whenever someone disagreed with me on something, I used to take it really personally, but now it doesn't really like affect me as much.
I feel like we kind of pivoted and started talking about like overthinking like social interactions, right? But I feel like maybe this is like the narcissist in me, but sometimes I feel like when I'm overthinking these like interactions and like over analyzing people, I feel like I'm doing the right thing, you know?
I think that's.
Was that what you were getting at?
I agree, but I
Yeah.
also think that's the narcissism in us because we're like, no, we're good people, we're better people because we notice all of these things. But are we? Like, are we?
Yeah, it's the narcissism, yeah.
I think it's a very hypercritical trait that to sit down and microanalyze everything, it becomes such a daunting experience. And to also kind of answer a question that wasn't directed to me, I've only just started this journey into trying to like kind of quiet the thoughts. I'd just be like, I don't care. I'd tell myself I don't care. I'd be at work and I'd make sure that I'm getting the next thing done. And I'd keep repeating, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't care. It's none of my business. I focus on what I've done as long as I'm sure of what my actions or what my like statements were are okay and right to me, then that's okay. But it's a practice, definitely.
I think that requires a lot of strength.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, the overthinking comes from like trying my best to like portray a character to other people. And I feel like when that like performance or character slips, that's when I start like overthinking it. I'm like, oh my God, what do they think about me? Like they don't think about me the way I want them to think about me. And like, it doesn't matter, you know? So I have to like bring myself out of it a bit.
I think I'm the opposite, where I'm a little bit less concerned with what people think of me, but rather, no. Like, I'm more concerned with their actions, right? Less with my actions. It's like, so he's saying that he feels like, for example, you're like overthinking your behavior, right?
It's a factor, I think. It's not the whole thing, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically what I'm saying.
But I think usually with me, when I go out, I think, in my opinion, I think it's rare that I'm overthinking what I did. Oftentimes I'm overthinking what the person did and why they did it. And that's where I think I'm like taking the lead on something that I shouldn't be taking the lead on, because I think as adults especially, we should be able to communicate our feelings. But because I'm so used to people under communicating, I over communicate to myself. And then eventually I over communicate to everyone else.
Kind of like filling in the gaps, I guess.
Yeah. And I do this with almost everyone. But yeah. Is this off the topic of Kafkaesque?
Absolutely not. I think it's the way we deal with this sort of conformity, in a sense where, like Nibral said, we have to have a certain image out there. And so to maintain that, we need to deal with a lot of the minute things that kind of end up filling that personality that we're trying to portray in such a society.
Yeah.
But if we do want to wrap up this part, I was expressing that when you're thrown into an environment not knowing why you're here and how long you'll stay and what you're expected of in the long run, but somehow you're expected to conform, and you do, but there are a lot of consequences, very heavy ones, that tend to build up very quickly and crumble you as fast as well. We moved to how he had a friend who was the one that's kind of like guiding him. He was standing right next to him, cracking eggs, and he told him, my ambition, like his utmost ambition was, I want to become a whisker. And that was like the next level up. So when Mr. K ended up getting this unwanted, unasked for promotion, the friend took it extremely personally and he felt attacked. He felt like he was being sabotaged, thrown under the bus, if you will. And in a sense, he was kind of saying, you stole my dream, you took it from me. And he was like, dude, I didn't even want this job. So there's that.
How do you think, like, if this was a circumstance in your life, like, is this something you experienced?
Have I experienced?
I wouldn't say that, but I'd say broader aspect of it, of some, like you getting something and then someone else wanted that something that you got and then they feel envious or hurt by that.
Yeah, but what? Whom?
For example.
Okay. 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 Sometimes you'd find yourself in a position where you befriend someone because you were on the same path, on the same journey, or maybe even in the same class. This doesn't mean that you have aligned morals, beliefs, or anything of the sort. You just relate to what you're both experiencing at the same moment. And so helping each other just seems like the moral thing to do, I guess. You share your goals, you share your plans in a very soft-hearted manner where you're not expecting any sabotage or any depth of what's another word for sabotage? Or any sort of backstabbing. But as life goes on, you each find your own paths into achieving this goal. And somehow, as you're moving through life, in some miraculous way, your goals end up being the same. This person could have already achieved that goal and moved from it, or not. And on your path there, you do not confide in this friend anymore because you find it a bit odd to share the fact that you have reached to a point where you're like, oh my God, I want that as well. Or it has come up to you and it says, I want you. And you feel like it aligns with where you're at in life. And so accordingly, that friend would feel like they've been thrown under the bus or maybe even deluded into the personality that they've experienced with you because of just how life goes. Does that make sense, or did I mix up the words?
Is this you telling your story, like, without any... Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really good.
Yeah, very diplomatic.
I swear. Like,
But anyway, that is how I would explain that section.
I'm trying to think if I ever had a circumstance... Oh! But my circumstance was not like that. I don't think it's like the person wanted what I wanted. They just wanted it when I got it.
That's still the same thing. But I'll tell you how that's different from me. Because basically I would in this story, if I were to say names and everything, I would seem as the attacker. I was the one who threw them under the bus.
Did you actually feel like you were?
No, not in the moment.
Did you have intentions?
Not at all.
It was just like something that, life just took you there, right?
Yeah.
And so that's, my circumstance was like that as well. Like, just one day I was like, oh, I can have this. Okay, cool. And my friend essentially was like, why would you take that? I was like, because it was there, and you said you didn't want it,
Exactly.
and you were always complaining about it. So like, she's like, no, actually, you can't have it because, I don't know, it was on my path or something.
Yeah, or it was mine first.
But it was not. But she didn't want it ever. Like it was always like this entertain. You know when you get when somebody gives you something, you don't really want it, but you're just like you take advantage of it because you just enjoy it. Let's make this an object. What's something you get, but you don't care for it, you complain about it all the time, like
A labubu.
nobody complains about it.
I'm sorry.
I'm
A
trying-
car.
No, food is you need that.
Sometimes you complain about food if it's not good.
But you need it to live. So
Okay, let's say you get offered to go on this trip, right? No, let's say this college really wants you and is chasing you. Please come study here. We'll give you a full ride scholarship. This is a better example. And then essentially you keep rejecting them. You're like, oh my god, they're so like, they just really want me to come here. And then your friend gets in, and the college gets this like intense like makeover, and it's like so much better. And now it's like a better college to go to, right? And suddenly she's pissed. Why are you pissed though? You know? This is so bad.
No, I get it.
Because, they never got the chance and now they will resent you for taking that chance.
In my circumstance, they had all the chances they needed.
But they look at the improvement. That's the difference.
That's not my problem. You should have seen that it was worth investing in the beginning.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
I feel like in general being put in a position where like people envy you is like not good at all. Like it's so bad that like every single culture and every single religion has it. Like we call it hesed, right? When someone envies you, there's like evil eye as well, and things people do to protect themselves from it. People don't want to be envied because it ruins relationships straight up.
I try a lot of the times to not be that person that envies someone, or at least to communicate it so the person knows. Or I think I'm the type of person who likes to surround myself with people that are succeeding and working for themselves, and even if they're doing better than me, it actually just pushes me to strive to do better, right? And I think this is the healthiest thing to do, rather than to like just be mad at everyone else for succeeding.
Yeah.
Because in my experience, when I surround myself with people that are in good relationships or have a good job or making a lot of money or just have happy, healthy families or good friends, it starts to kind of affect my life in a good way.
It like rubs off on you.
It does. It definitely rubs off on me. As for the opposite, if I have like these like mediocre friends who are like not doing as good as me, maybe it'll feed my ego because I'll be like, oh, I'm the best person here. بس يعني هذين ما بيفيدوني in the long run. Like, I'm gonna get dragged down.
Relax,
They will envy me, and I have to spread out my resources to them because they're my friends. Obviously, I feel bad that they don't have as much as me. So it's always better. I'm not saying chase people who are doing better than you, but I think it's good to make an effort to make sure that the people around you are taking care of themselves and that you see that it's actually good even if they're getting better than you at the time. Because I think everyone has no one is like 100% better than you.
Thing is, this goes back to what we were speaking about in the beginning, which is like the personalization thing, but you're speaking about it from the other POV where people would take the things you do personally.
That was what I was saying. My issue is not how people see my actions. It's how I'm thinking about, or what I'm overthinking is how they are experiencing, not me, but just generally life. Like, did they come into this? Like, are they so this is why I can't surround myself with, let's say, people who I think are not doing enough for themselves. Because I sit and I overthink, مثلا, why is this person not doing an internship this summer? Why are they complaining about not having money? Why are they complaining about their friends or their significant other? It drains me. And I'm not in this relationship. I'm not the one who has 3 riyals in my bank account. But I'm thinking, I'm literally like, this is something I experienced. Like, people in my life will tell you, Nadine ma تسكتي, and she keeps sending us like jobs, or she's like telling us about workshops, or I'm telling people, go to comics. Like, you'll get an internship. Like, I'm always pushing because أحس كأنه like what are you going through? I'm scared. Like, I feel like I'm experiencing it too. I can't. I have to be around people who care about themselves enough for me to not overthink it.
I
So, yeah.
understand what you're like, the way you're looking at this. I completely understand it.
It's literally, Omani Archive is built on this.
Yeah, I agree.
Like a need to fix the community, which is, well, I'm not saying the community is broken. I'm not saying that. But يعني, tweaking always is needed. So yeah.
Their point is how difficult it is to form meaningful connections in like a conformist world. It feels like everyone is playing a character, and sometimes it's not about them playing a character. It's sometimes they don't know what they believe in. And it's like, if you don't know what you believe in, it's like it puts me in a bad position as well, because it means you'll judge me, and this place of judgment is coming like it's a projection, right?
I don't think people understand that.
They don't know, but that's how they act.
They don't. I mean, in every society, there are a set of rules, okay, that people live up to. In some societies more than others, the rules are very set in stone, and you'll actually hear people, and it echoes a lot in the. This is how you're supposed to be, and this is what you get if you're this way. And if you do X, Y, Z, you'll be X, Y, Z, and you'll feel X, Y, Z. Right?
Yeah, a lot of people like they don't believe this themselves, and they'll act in ways that are like contrary to like these rules. And when other people start doing it, then it becomes a problem because they feel guilty about it. So now they're projecting their guilt onto you, and it's like they want us to have like this unspoken agreement, you know, where like this unspoken agreement where we just live our lives and like we don't like think about these things, yeah. And like even if you don't live in a way that like, or even if you do live in a way that contradicts these rules, like you're still not supposed to talk about it or encourage it.
I think a statement that I've been using very repetitively lately is that people have quieted their conscience very much. And in essence, when you try to awaken it, or when you try to bring light to whatever it is, honestly, it could be, why are you not getting an internship? Why are you not looking at XYZ in 1, 2, 3 way, you know? And it could be the correct way, it could be the wrong way, but whatever it is you're doing to awaken their conscience, they feel like it is a personal attack to them.
Exactly. It's
So
like,
it's-
why are you removing me from my blissful ignorance?
So real,
Yeah.
I think that we don't have a culture of questioning, right?
Yeah.
Because it's safer to not question
Yeah.
yourself and your surroundings and the people around you and culture and tradition.
Yeah.
It's a lot safer, it's a lot easier. But I think once you start questioning it, everyone becomes kind of like a target, unfortunately. Like you feel enlightened, but at the same time you feel, what's the opposite of enlightened? I don't know, guys.
Delighted?
feel-
No,
It's basically getting out of the circle and then looking towards and inside the circle and looking at how everything is.
You feel all of their burdens. Yeah, and you feel like you want to help all of them. Like, no,
Yeah.
you should look like question this, question that, and then they're like, oh my god, what's wrong with you? Why are you asking me all of this? Like,
Yeah.
I'm fine. Like, if you're questioning your reality, deal with it on your own. Like,
your existential crisis to yourself.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. It becomes such a projection.
Exactly.
They
yeah.
project their own fears, their own insecurities, their own lack of understanding, their want to find out more about themselves, because truly that is a very hard and troubling journey to just sit down and look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, who am I?
Yeah, especially when it becomes like an issue of like assigning values, as in like the way you're living is like wrong and like evil. It's like, first of all, who are you to judge? And like, no, that it's not evil. There's nothing wrong with it.
I think a lot of people in the world have a very black and white lens
Yeah.
or perspective on everything.
Yeah.
There's right and wrong.
Everyone's thinking in extremes.
This is like majority of religions. There's like a black and white perspective, right and wrong. And because of that, they ignore the gray area. They're like, it's right, this is wrong.
Yeah.
And when you're in the gray area, they don't acknowledge it. They're like, okay, at some point you'll get to the right side or you'll get to the wrong side. And they'll only acknowledge it when it gets to this or that point.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's insignificant to them, yani. Like, don't refer to what's happening in the gray area.
I think there's like an aspect of like envy as well, because like their conformist way of living is like it's something they aspire to and something they work towards, and to see someone else not working towards it or like living in a way that like contradicts it, and like they're happy, they're like, what? How can you be happy?
It's disrespectful to them, right? Because
Yeah.
like they're like, we struggled, and this isn't easy. It's not easy to conform,
Yeah.
which I think is important to acknowledge.
Yeah, true. I agree.
And as much as it's difficult for someone who's aware that they're conforming and trying not to, and trying to kind of understand themselves outside of society's expectations, it's also very difficult to not have the strength or the awareness on how to not conform.
Yeah.
Like having in your head, imagine you believe that the right way is the only way to live
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
So seeing somebody else not live the right way, or what you think is the right way, and still getting blessings or still doing well, like that would piss
Or just
off.
being happy.
If I were to try to redirect this conversation, and I don't know where it's gonna go, but for the sake of trying, to just loop back to the section where we were discussing about how there's a lot of envy, but also Nadine was saying that you like to surround yourself with people that are more aspirational than you perhaps, or as aspirational. And I feel like that really does show the drastic distinction between, I need to look up these words in English, but the difference between hasad and bughd. Because hasad is more of, why do they have that? I want that. I wish they don't have that. Whereas bughd is more of, oh my God, I love what they have. I wish I can have that too. And I'll start working on getting that.
Yeah. You know, I feel like also when you have people like this around you, they also serve as a resource or a mentor to you or a guide. And it's just, it's something to be grateful for, right? They have something you want. Ask them how they got to that point, right? Instead of like being upset that you don't have it yet. And relax, I think most people will be like very happy to advise you. You know, if they're happy in the choices or the position they're in, they'll be like, this is how I got to where I'm at, or how I'm in what I'm, yeah.
We can continue this by talking about how not only we can move past the egg cracker friend and then continue to when he found his followers after
Yeah.
they anointed him as the liberator.
Yeah.
Like, okay, he started off feeling like a nobody, like a nothing. He, in a very weird way, found a sort of purpose. Maybe not a magical, grand, life-defining one, just a very simple, immediate, solution to, okay, what is my current issue? I need to get out of here. How do I get out of here? I need to find an exit. So he accepted that he's no longer a nobody, but it started off with him wanting to be a hero to himself. Once he was anointed this sort of liberator, he had to deal with two issues at this point. He had to move very quickly from his newfound acceptance of finding some sort of purpose that was directed at himself to redirect his life. But now he has followers, people that have laid their hopes and dreams of leaving, escaping, exiting. And now not only does he need to support his goal, he needs to support a lot of others. Once that did happen and he was like, okay, fine, I'll accept that this is my path now, he had to deal with a lot of different people. They started off being extremely eager and excited, and they were like, oh my God, liberator, he's gonna find a way out. We've been like chained, we've been like, we've been conformed for so long. And now there is someone who's helping us. And yes, that is wonderful to be able to rely on someone and use them as a guide, as a force to not very much escape, but at least start carving the path for a change and towards the exit. But when that did happen, there was a lot of other things that he did not consider, given the fact that he did not interact with a lot of people. The sudden surge of so many different personalities and mindsets was a factor that he completely omitted, because he thought, oh my God, they're as oppressed as me, they're as scared and in need of a change, that they will have the same drive, the same want, and the same passion, perhaps, to find a way out as soon as possible in the most efficient way. But the reality is, a lot of people are lazy, and that is why they needed someone to get to this change. And so they were doing the most outrageous and ridiculous things, such as not actually marking the hallways to find an exit. They ended up in his room.
They were eating his food.
Eating his rations that he saved up.
Insane.
Yeah, they were eating his food.
I don't know what I was.
They ate his rations. They were unreliable. They were lazy. They didn't complete the tasks that he assigned to them as a leader.
Okay, I know what I wanted to say. So you know how we're all older siblings, right? Your siblings kind of, because they're always, so they see, your younger siblings see you manage to get through whatever trauma or whatever experiences you went through, right? So they have this expectation, or yeah, an expectation that you're just capable. And it was just, they don't realize that it wasn't easy for you in the same way that it's not easy for them. But they're like, yeah, but you've been through it. So like, it's okay if I take what you have, Yani. You know, you seem fine now. And I think it's kind of dehumanizing in a way, this expectation. And because they're in the thick of it, they're not able to empathize, right? Which is really unfortunate for this kind of leader or the savior or the hero. And you just kind of have to be like, okay, I went through it first, and unfortunately, I am their guiding light.
Yeah.
What do you do with that, Yani? That's just... I think,
yeah, like you just have to be on all the time.
Yeah.
In the movie, I took it as like they were finding meaning through him.
Okay.
They were finding meaning through him, and like they were kind of grasping for straws because they're so miserable and like looking for purpose. And then suddenly someone shows up and he's like, I know the meaning of all of this. And they're like, really?
But
Like,
realistically, he didn't.
no, he didn't. Yeah,
Which
but
is so
but they
funny.
don't know that. Yeah. I remember like as soon as he walked into the hotel, they already started like labeling him as a liberator. They didn't even know him at that point.
But I guess you also tend to experience that in all sorts of paths or pit stops in life, where you find people that you're like, okay, they're aligning with me. We seem like we are riding for the same goal. And so to make this easier on myself, I'll let them hop on my train as well. And that means two people are working on it. And so it will get faster. It will get done faster and easier. But when you find yourself being the constant force, the constant one with a drive, the other side tend to leech, I would like to say. Mm-hmm. They see that there is, let's say, for example, you've all agreed to do 50-50. But on one random day, you wake up with a little bit more energy. So you're like, you know what? I'll do 80 today. And you keep your 50 because that's still going to get us, you know? We're going to get more ammo today, for example. But then it keeps going. And like a week later, you're like, you know what? I'm okay with the 80 today as well. You don't need to do the whole 50. And then they kind of take that as a trend. And I feel like there are a lot of people out there that, because they see how easy it is with you, they think that it's okay, that it's an invitation for you to do less and then, you know, get the rewards still in full. And I think that's also something that is extremely unfair.
I think that let's say you're like someone who has the resources or the experience or the knowledge, what they think is your 50% is not equal to their 50%. So like your 50% because you have all this knowledge and resources is like much more powerful. Their 50% is a lot less. And then they take advantage of that. Because they're like, oh, yeah, but you're like so much more experienced. So I should sit back and like let you do it.
And the whole issue with this is still a 50-50.
It's like an equity thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's not fair.
Mm.
You know? It is fair but when it's, I don't know, and when it depends on the dynamic, right? If we're talking about like a community where like a leader and then it's people, I think it can be unfair because you lean back on your community or you lean back on your family, right? But when it's like, let's say a relationship, I think that's when it's fair, right? Because it's two different people with two different, like that's different and you can make up for it. But with a community, if everyone is giving their 50% and someone's 50% is like almost nothing, then somebody is being taken advantage of.
That's true, yeah.
Because there's no way that my 50% is enough to feed all of you guys. It's not enough. There's no way it's enough to support all of you guys. It has to be my 50%, your 80%, and then one day it's my 80%. Because we have to like, there's a lot of math.
It's all about the dynamic or a balance.
Yeah, the dynamic is, it affects it, right?
And like to that point as well, I don't think like you should rely on anyone like at all, not even like 1%. Like you shouldn't rely on them for like meaning or purpose.
Yeah.
Especially since like, you know, like this is everyone's first time living. No one knows what they're doing. And like even if everything seems put together, like I've learned recently that like everyone is going through their own stuff and like everyone's life is kind of like put together with like duct tape and it's like very DIY and they don't know what's going and they don't know what's going on and now you're going to rely on them. Like you should like live your life by yourself.
They're ever evolving. Like if you base your belief or you base your next steps entirely on someone who's, let's say, succeeded, there's still that slight chance that you won't succeed because you know, like the world is changing, right?
Yeah.
Let's say somebody made $1 million in this specific way 2 years ago. Does not mean if you follow all those steps, you're going to do that as well, right? So you're right. You have to depend on yourself. You can take from them, you can be inspired, you can learn, but there has to be some form of like effort from yourself and some form of confidence and research and knowledge that you've acquired on your own. You can't live somebody else's life and expect the same outcome.
Yeah, and especially with like meaning and purpose, like you can't live someone else's truth, you know?
Yeah.
Like the reason they are the way they are is because of their experiences and the things they believe that they found by like looking inwards. You have to do a lot of that like self-reflection by yourself.
Yeah.
And there's like no other way about like getting on it or going about it, I meant.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Shows you that there is not one way to this, like, to success or enlightenment or happiness. There's 1,000 ways, and yeah, you don't need to shame somebody else, and you don't need to do it exactly the way one person did it.
I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, profoundly, like, personal. It's like, yeah, intimate and personal. So again, if like, you finding yourself and finding meaning means like finding God, then again, like you can't rely on other people for it. It's very, very personal. Again, you can't live other people's truths.
Yeah, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can, I think it's a misconception, or it's not a misconception, but I think it's a bad habit that we have as humans to give one person the power to dictate who they are.
Yeah.
Like we have, like, for example, with celebrities, right? We're like, this person is my idol.
Yeah.
And then you also have it in the social setting or in the political setting, like, this person is my idol. Or in religion, you're like, this specific scholar is my guiding force. And it's, at the end of the day, all these people are human.
Yeah.
Every single one of them are human, which means every single one of them is changing and evolving. And that celebrity is like perspective on this year will be different next year, and that scholar will also develop and also get new perspectives. So, and you're not living in that person's brain, so you can't take all of your directions in this life from one person. You have to take it in from everything and everyone around you.
Yeah.
You cannot rely on one person.
Yeah, I mean, it should be based on your experiences, right? And like, if other people are like a big part of your experience, then like, yeah, in that sense, it's like valid to get like, I don't know, like meaning from other people. Yeah, if it's a big part of your experience, but like it's different. Like it's different from just deriving meaning from them.
So you can take what you think is right from the person and not be like, what's the word when you're like pretending like someone's perfect? Like the comments under
Idealize.
Yeah.
Or put them on a pedestal.
yeah. Like, why are we putting him on a pedestal? He's human. But you guys are like, he's the GOAT. Like, he always does that. No, he doesn't, and you know that. Because he's human. Because he's human. Yani, of course, yeah. And I'm not going to sit and argue with you if you tell me that this one perspective that he has is right. I'm sure he says things that are right every now and then. Yani. Like, that's not the point. The point is you guys idolize him, and that's the problem. It could be any other person. If he was idolized, and I'm not saying that, like, I'm just saying that we should never idolize people. Like, ever. There's no one who deserves to be on this pedestal.
I think that's more correct. I think it's more correct to say that the issue is that we have normalized it so much, not asking why, that when we eventually do, or at least when those leaders do, it makes the system crack. Albeit a system that we've created to find the structure in this chaos, but it cracks nonetheless. But in essence, the people who have made the system or are running it are the ones that are promoting this don't ask why.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to tie it applies to all systems. It applies to any system, even like a more personal system, right? Like
True.
The system you build in yourself. Like, this is a belief I have. Like, let's say I'm trying to let's talk about it on a smaller scale.
By the way, it's on.
Everything is on. Okay, perfect.
Wonderful.
So on a smaller scale, right? Let's say I am aspiring or manifesting becoming a writer, right? And let's say I don't have the resources, or let's say I have a little bit, and I'm going around telling people I'm going to become a writer. I'm going to become a writer, and I'm going to get $1 million in sales or whatever, right? And then the people around me are like. And then I'm like, why do you think I'm going to fail? Or why this? Or why that? This system, right, is... Like, even the system in me is still like... Do you get what I'm trying... I'm lost now. I'm losing my point. But I was trying to basically relate how the bigger system, to stay strong... Oh, okay. So if you come to me and you question what I'm trying to convey to you, or like this thing I'm aspiring to have, or this belief that I created or I somehow believe in, it's going to crack down. And I'm going to be defensive, you know? There's this whole thing where it's like, deny the 3D, deny like everything that's like going against your dreams, or just like don't like ignore it, or just don't acknowledge it. Because otherwise it will stand in the way of you getting there. You will have doubts and kala. So even in that sense, even with something as not small, but as small as your dreams or your goals, you're going to be like, don't question it, right? Because you're going to put a crack in what I believe I'm doing. And in the larger scale, like if it's a government or it's an institution or it's simple as a household and a parent, they're going to be like, don't question it, because you're going to weaken the strength of my power, of my leadership, or what I'm building. It's just human, it's just not human, but it's just nature, right? If you question something that's being built, the person who's building it is gonna like look into those questions, and then hence you have a little bit of a shaky foundation.
Yeah. So in terms of human reaction, when nothing makes sense, when there are no maps, no exits, no clocks, and within all this absurdity, you find people still working, still rehearsing this personality that they've put out. You find it strange, but it's also a very eerily comforting and familiar feeling because realistically, the world is a chaotic place. We have to struggle to kind of find our calling. I don't know if I can say that, but we have to struggle to find our calling. And within human nature, when we find something,
Battery.
God.
Oh,
It's dead.
Yeah.
It says charge battery pack.
خلاص تستدي يعني.
I guess to conclude this episode, I would like to spread the message of embracing an unresolved path. We need to acknowledge that life will not provide a neat resolution. Life actually tends to refuse to provide a neat resolution. And this is a crucial point for the journey of self-discovery. Life doesn't always offer a clear exit or a happy ending. We need to talk about the beauty and the terror of an unresolved ending, because through that we are able to find our path. Through that we are able to figure out what the next step is. With that we are able to find the next step. And through that, we're also able to take off the rose-colored glasses and see who the toxic people are, who the people that are leading you to success are. And through that, you can find out how to become that person or how to stop being that toxic person. And then once you become that person, you ready yourself to take on this journey, this path that you've just discovered, and you start carving your way through there. And so I guess the conclusion of all of this is failure is not something to be afraid of. It's not something to want to avoid, but it's a final lesson of acceptance. And there are some battles that are internal, and the only escape is to confront the chaos head on. And I would like to end this with a statement that says, sometimes the way in is not always the way out. That's it.
Do
I
say
completely disagree with everything.
I completely disagree. Like I just. Do you disagree? I disagree.
I completely disagree.
God.